Hi, I'm Isabel and welcome back to the VWA's workshop. Today I'm going to take you through how to use a panel saw. As usual, don't forget your PPE equipment, your goggles and your earmuffs. This machine is specific to cross-cutting timber, so it's when you cut the timber perpendicular to the grain. It's also very good at cutting big sheets of material, especially because of its sliding table. So with this machine, you can lower and raise the blade depending on the thickness of the timber that you're going to use. And you can also set it or pivot it on an angle. If you need to pivot the blade on an angle, the lever is found right here. And if you need to move the blade up and down, it's just found just behind the machine over here. One of the greatest features of this machine is that you can change the angle of this fence all the way to a 45-degree angle. However, wait for your tutor to help you do that before you start. The panel saw comes with a series of accessories and clamps that you can use when you're working, which are really good for safety. Make sure you ask your tutor about them. So be mindful that this machine has a sliding table, so be aware of your surroundings and the people around you. It's always good practice to do a little machine inspection before you start operating the machinery. This is the guard, the extraction guard. Make sure that it's placed on top of the blade, and you can change the height by pushing up or pulling down. Make sure it's locked once you're finished. So to turn on this machine, just press the green button that is farthest away from the emergency button. And to turn it off, just press the red button. You can also turn off the machine by pressing the emergency button. If the machine does not turn on, it's probably because the emergency button has been pressed, and all you have to do is move the knob clockwise to release it. So the panel saw has two fences. The fence that is connected to the sliding table has a little measuring gauge, which is used to cut your stock to a certain length. It reads from the inside of the blade to the stop. If you don't need to use the second fence, make sure that it's out of the way when you're using the sliding table. So the second fence is located on the other side of the blade. There's a lever to lock it in place. You can unlock it by moving the lever up, and then you press it down in order to locate it. You can also move the fence forwards and backwards. The lever is found over here, and you can push it or pull it. One important thing to consider with this fence is if you're using it together with the sliding table, and you're using it either as a stop or as a measuring gauge, you have to make sure that the fence is actually sitting behind the blade. If you don't do this, the piece of timber that you just cut is gonna get stuck between the blade and the fence, and you will get kickback, which means that the piece of timber is gonna be propelled backwards, and it's very dangerous. Lastly, if you need to make any adjustments to the machines, or if you need to change the blades, please ask your tutor. Before you cut your timber, make sure that the timber has been dressed. If it's not, consult your tutor. Depending on the thickness of the timber that you are going to use, then you're going to have to raise or lower the blade accordingly. It's good practice to have the blade exposed maybe about 3 to 5 millimeters. Don't cut anything that is less than 300 millimeters in length. If you need to do that, there are safe ways to go about it, so just ask your tutor. Make sure that you have a plan of action before you start cutting your timber. Make sure that it's smart, that you understand what your waste is and what you're actually going to need, And it's good to consider that the blade has a thickness which is called kerf, and you will lose that 3mm thickness when you're cutting. When you come to cutting a sheet of material, make sure that you adjust the blade in relationship to the thickness of the material. If the sheet is really, really big, you're probably going to need some help. And if the sheet is too thin, to avoid vibration, you need to clamp it down to the sliding table. This machine comes with a series of clamps that you can use. Please ask your tutor about it. I'm going to show you now how to use the sliding table of the panel saw to make a crosscut. So just a quick reminder, cross-cutting is when you cut the timber perpendicular to the grain. So make sure that the workplace that you're going to use is clean of all dust and little particles. Once you've got your timber ready and it's been dressed, place it against the fence and also place it against the blade. So the thickness of the timber will dictate the height of the blade. Also, this machine has a measuring gauge. If you're going to cut something at a certain length, just place the gauge next to your timber. Now, if you're not sure that the gauge is working, it's always good practice to mark your timber. Now, if the piece of timber that you're going to cut is shorter than 300mm, then you need to use a clamp or some sort of device to hold it down. Just ask your tutor how to go about it. If you're not going to need the fence that is on the right side of the blade, just get rid of it and make sure that the guard is on top of the blade that you're using. This will get you ready to do a crosscut. Okay, so now that we're all set up, I'm going to show you how to do a cut. Make sure that you're wearing all your PPE equipment with you, goggles as well as the earmuffs. You're going to use your hands like clamps. Make sure that your hands are placed within the safety zone of the table saw. So your left hand is pushing the timber down, while the palm of your right hand is pressing against the fence. Once you've applied pressure to the timber, all you need to do is find a comfortable stance and start slowly to push the sliding table forward. Once you finish the cut and go past the blade, you can remove your timber and start over again. Okay, so this is it for the panel saw. I hope that you understand when to use the panel saw, how to set it up, and how to use it safely. Thank you for watching this video, and see you at the workshop.